All right. Well, yeah, my name is Alex.
I already told him that. I already told him that.
uh, so I'll be introducing the theming system that's coming to Futo Keyboard. Um, so first, a little bit, if you're not familiar with Futo Keyboard, what is Futo Keyboard? So it's our Android keyboard app that we're working on. Um, the goal isn't to do anything crazy, like we're not trying to reinvent typing or anything. We're just trying to build a good keyboard app. Now the question is why. So unfortunately, most keyboard apps that people are using these days, they're not really privacy friendly. Like they'll collect statistics, they'll like train models on like the data you type. Um, and yeah, that can be, it's not really clear like where your data is going sometimes. There's like toggles somewhere to turn it off, maybe, or maybe not. I mean, you shouldn't have to worry about something as basic as a keyboard that it's like collecting your data or shipping it off somewhere. So like we survived for a century with typewriters that don't connect to the internet. So why should our mobile keyboards connect to the internet? Yeah, my personal opinion is that they shouldn't. So that's why Futo Keyboard is an offline keyboard. And yeah, it doesn't request the network permission, so it actually can't make any network requests, even if it wanted to. So yeah, now on to theming. So I'm sure you're familiar with the keyboard looking something like this. We've had several themes, but they were nothing too crazy. They just like change how the keyboard looks in terms of colors. And there hasn't really been much customization. But now I'll introduce how a theme can look. So with this new theme system, you'll be able to like change the keys, like change their colors, change how they're presented. So this is one theme example. It's not a very good theme, not the prettiest one. Here's a prettier one. It's prettier because we hired an actual artist to make this one. You can use this one today in Futo Keyboard. This one is built in, but it'll probably be removed at some point because it's not Christmas anymore. Yeah, here's a more ugly theme that I also made last night. So yeah, you can like change. You'll be able to change like how it looks. So how does the system work? So themes will be basically zip files that you can import. You'll be able to like share these files anywhere or upload them to your website. And inside a zip file is going to be like image assets. There's going to be a JSON file that like defines a bunch of stuff. So some of the things that the JSON will define are like the colors, the keyboard background, and like the key backgrounds, the font. So if you look at how a keyboard looks, there's not really any specific size for keys. Like a keyboard has to support different sizes, different like orientations, different aspect ratios. So keys can look like really different. It's like on the left, you can see very small keys, and then on the right, you have like landscape with really wide keys. So a good theme system needs to support like all these cases. And so to do that, we're just using 9-slice scaling. So this is how like a key background asset looks. It's just like this little square, and basically there's a rectangle defined that like this middle rectangle, and based on just this one rectangle, it slices it up into 9 slices. And basically, if you want to cover a larger area, you just place them like this, and then like the top and bottom ones stretch horizontally, the left and right ones stretch vertically, and the center one stretches in both ways, and so you fill the whole rectangle you're trying to fill. This is a standard technique used in like UI widely. And yeah, that's what we're using. So each key asset will be associated with a selector. So a selector is basically just a string that describes which key you want to apply this asset to. So for example, you could say layout QWERTY, label Q, normal. So some of these keywords take arguments. So layout, for example, it just, in this case, the argument is QWERTY. So it only affects the QWERTY layout. And so if you applied this, you would basically be applying this asset or whatever other asset you have to just the Q key on like a normal keyboard, on the QWERTY keyboard. So some of the other keywords that exist, there's like normal, functional, action. So normal keys are like just the normal QWERTY keys. Functional is like shift, the symbols key, like the comma, and action is like the enter key. Yeah, there's some selectors that take arguments. So you could apply it like with a specific label. You could select by a specific row or column. And there's a special one, row mod. This is just applying modulo to the like row or column. And just, it's useful for like randomness, as I'll show you later. And you can do not only key backgrounds, but also like key icons. So most often you would just specify like enter key, icon enter key, and that would apply your icon to just the enter key. But you could also just like apply to any key, like based on label. So like if you wanted to change the key to a little heart icon, I don't know, you could do that. So yeah, going back to this theme, I'll show you how it looks under the hood. So obviously there's a font, which is just a TTF file. Then you have the 4 icons that are replaced. So yeah, like just replacing the emoji key and such. And then there's key backgrounds, so you're changing the pop-up. And then you're using column modulo and row modulo just to achieve this sort of variation, just a sort of randomness to it. And yeah, there's like 4 PNGs that it's applying for these backgrounds. So yeah, other than that, there's 47 changeable colors. So most of these are just material 3 colors, which is just Google's like material design scheme, like primary colors and such. There's a few extra ones we have just for like various aspects of the keyboard. You can specify a background image, and you can specify the ideal cropping. So it's not always going to be able to respect your cropping. It might go like a little outside your cropping region based on, you know, the aspect ratio of the keyboard versus the image. And yeah, custom fonts is DTF files. Not everything is themable. So the action bar, for example, some of the menus, like the emoji menu, voice input menu, those are only going to be colorable. So you could change the colors to like make it look different, but you won't be able to like apply custom images or whatever. And another thing that the theme system doesn't affect is the layout of the keys. So, for example, you couldn't make the enter key wider. If you wanted to actually affect the placement of the keys or like their dimensions, you would have to do that with a custom layout, which we do also support. So yeah, it's not very friendly to like just edit a JSON file. So there will be a theme tool that'll make it easier for like artists and regular people to make themes. And you'll see like a live preview of a bunch of different like layouts and different like sizes of the keyboard. So So this will make it easier to ensure your theme actually works for different font sizes and such. This will only be for like desktops. I won't really be targeting mobile editing for this tool because I don't think you should be like editing hex colors on a phone. I feel like that's better left to do on a computer. But if you do want to make a custom theme, you don't want to deal with any of the complexity, there's a simpler theme tool that's already built into the app. It's a lot simpler in that you can't like customize, like you can't do what I showed basically with custom images. You can only just set a background photo. You can like adjust the cropping. You can change the colors, and you can toggle like light and dark or key borders. And yeah, this is in the app today if you use it. So yeah, that was theming. I'll just do a quick update on like other things that we have shipped recently. So there's Japanese that was shipped recently. It's using the
out there. That's one for the weebs, you know. So we care about you guys. We know that you're part of our addressable market. Go on.
So there's the flick layout for Japanese. If you've never used it, it's pretty cool if you ever look at it. So yeah, adding Japanese has involved like refactoring some of the code to support like different input methods, and with that, it sort of laid the great groundwork to do other like more complex languages as well. So Chinese Pinyin will also be coming. I didn't actually do most of the Chinese work myself. It was a pull request that somebody submitted. So yeah. And yeah.
It's the beauty of open source, right?
Yeah. And yeah, we haven't forgotten about Swipe. So as Rizzy mentioned, we have a new team member.
Lee over there. He's gonna get Swipe done. That's his job. Get Swipe done, right?
So yeah, you can try out the model that we have for now. This is not what's in the app right now. This is like a new thing that Lee has been working on. So if you scan this QR code, it'll open up a web page where you can swipe on the keyboard and just see how well it works, basically. And yeah, so thanks, everyone. One other thing, you can make images like this in Futo Keyboard as well. There's a word art action in the menu. You can also make stuff like this. So yeah.
The vibe on that is like from before he was born. You know what I'm saying? Well, thank you. Let's give a clap. You know. So